Now, a law firm out of California that recently set up in Spokane is already talking about trying to find out who to assign blame to. The utilities, did they cut power off in time? Should they have? Would that have helped at all? And they're encouraging fire victims, those who've lost their homes, businesses, to get in contact with them. Now, this is Singleton Schreiber. That's the name of the law firm. Now, former Governor Jay Inslee is now tied to this firm. He was hired on with them to do some advocacy work. So there are important connections here that deserve at least the light of day. So um, Singleton Schreiber put out this email blast to media, and I got the email yesterday on Monday saying, "Hey, make sure that you let your viewers, your readers know that we're here, and they should be in contact with us if they need any help." They want to position themselves to potentially represent Spokane fire victims, and they offered up their attorneys for an interview. Um, at this point, obviously, we've got an arsonist. We have no idea if there's going to be other blame assigned, folks that should be held accountable for these fires. But of course, you get the law firms that line up hoping that they can be in the middle of representing victims. So I spoke to Rich Barker with Singleton Schreiber in an interview on Monday, and I asked him, I said, okay, so who really pays for these big settlements? Because in California, which is where they're headquartered, utility ratepayers saw their bills go way up when they created this fire victims liability fund backed by this law firm who wanted that. Now, this was tried here in Washington state this legislative session, a bill that was backed by Democratic Representative Christine Reeves of Federal Way. It didn't get past its initial hearing in a committee, but it would have established this victims fund. The law firm then gets to tap into the fund for these payouts. So again, I asked Singleton Schreiber attorney Rich Barker about that.
Nobody wants their rates to go up, and we completely understand that. And it's really a question of whether corporate profits, or whether the corporations and the utilities are going to ensure that they keep rates low, while at the same time ensuring that they have coverage to pay for the catastrophic event that in some instances they caused, right? And making sure that they are taking responsibility for the things that happen to our communities, for the devastating impacts of wildfires in our communities. We think that it's important that we put the customers and those who are victims and survivors of wildfires head over profits. And it's essential that having a fund in place like this, especially for utilities like Inland Power and Light or other smaller utilities that don't have large insurance policies, that they're able to obtain this insurance on the back end. I mean, ultimately, the state pays for it when there is a massive wildfire like this, the suppression cost and other costs associated with rebuilding from a wildfire, the infrastructure cost as well. So I would counter that notion that it's the plaintiff's lawyers that end up profiting off of a fund like this. It's the members of our community who are tragically impacted by wildfires who get the benefit of that. We're really early in any investigation. Whenever there is a catastrophic wildfire, our firm is always proactively looking to identify who may be responsible and to investigate the cause and origin of that wildfire. In this particular case, with respect to the Fairview fire or the Old Trails fire or the Auburn fire, we're not at a point where we have enough information one way or the other. But we will continue to look into the cause and origin of those fires. And when they are railroad caused or utility caused wildfires, those are instances where when a utility, when a big company, when a railroad does ignite a wildfire and it devastates a community, those are cases where we want to be proactive on behalf of the survivors of those wildfires and try to help make them whole and to bring them back as close as we can to where they were. We obviously can't bring back their lives and make it exactly as it was, but it's also important to hold big corporations accountable
So now here's the connection with former Governor Jay Inslee, because Singleton Schreiber enlisted Inslee and Mike Webb, who was a longtime advisor to now Governor Bob Ferguson, to help move that legislation I referenced. Again, it didn't move past its initial public hearing. But in a September 17th, 2025 opinion piece, we had some comments here from Governor Inslee, and we'll put this up. It was posted in the Spokesman Review. He said a wildfire victims fund is a practical, multi benefit solution. It ensures economic justice for victims, increases prevention efforts and utility accountability, protects utilities against bankruptcy, and improves access to affordable wildfire insurance, all without pulling from the state general fund. So, again, while it may not pull from the state general fund, in the case of California, ratepayers were bilked for more than $10 billion to pay into that fund. So then the law firm could come and get that and dole it out to wildfire victims. So I spoke this morning with GOP Chairman Jim Walsh about the Inslee connection to this law firm. And, when there's big fires in Spokane, this firm says we need a dedicated fund to drain from. Well, Chairman Walsh had some very pointed comments for former Governor Inslee about that.
Jay Inslee is a grifter. He is a shady ambulance chasing scumbag. And this is what he was before he got in politics. He was an ambulance chasing lawyer then, out of politics now. And he keeps trying to make it sound like he is going to run for president or become a cabinet official. He's not. He's out of politics. He's reverted to his sleazy ambulance chasing ways from years ago before he was in politics. Inslee has aligned himself with a California-based law firm that runs a grifty racket. This is what they do. They're very politically engaged with the left wing, with progressive politicians. And they get states to create a taxpayer-funded account with a new tax in these states uh, that is a so-called wildfire victims fund. And it sounds sympathetic. It sounds like something people want to help, especially like right now in the wake of these fires really wrecking a lot of residential areas in and around Spokane County. Um, People want to help. I mean, they want to, what can I do? I literally getting calls from people and emails. What can I do? I want to help. Who could I give some money to? What can I do to volunteer? So people want to help. And these ghouls, these legal vampires take advantage of that impulse to help. And they set up these taxes that fund these victims funds, as they call them. And then they, the law firm that helped create the fund, the government money pile, then sues the state or sues NGOs and quasi-government agencies or local governments, the county, the fire district, whatever, to get at the money in the account that they helped set up. It is a complete grift. I mean, it's like a Ponzi scheme. It's like Bernie Madoff or Carlo Ponzi. It's a grift. And Inslee is up to his sleazy ears in trying to set up this kind of scam here in Washington State.
Again, important to note at this point, there is no evidence that utilities in Spokane, Avista, or any others were negligent. In fact, I know that notices were going out to cut power in certain areas. We do have an alleged arsonist in custody. And if, in fact, that fire sparked the others, there's not going to be any evidence at this point that the utilities were to blame. And then we have, of course, had incredible winds that day all across the state of Washington. So I would encourage you to check out my colleague Tim Clauser's article, The Center Square Washington page. He has the very latest on the fire victims, the numbers, and as well as important links for folks who are looking to help.